Hello and welcome back to Awakening Truths Make Up Your Power podcast. I am your host, Nicole, with my sidekick, super women lady, Stephanie and Tina, taking the stage, coming here to talk to you about what is the story you keep telling yourself? And is it outdated? Is it useful? And what are you holding on to it for? Is it keeping you stuck? So we're going to explore all kinds of things. The energy forecast, we've got Mercury in retrograde, and we have that in Cancer. So again, revisiting, that's revisiting relationships, revisiting all different kinds of situations, habits even, um, all kind of coming up for revisiting. Childhood wounds. I mean, there's a lot coming up for everybody, and it's happening really, really fast because we have the Saturn square that's happening. It's really creating like that push of owning. So when we talk today about, what story you're telling yourself, I want to ask even a little bit deeper is what story are you living versus what you're telling yourself? Because Saturn's asking for ownership of living what you're telling yourself. It's kind of like that time. So ladies, with that being said and opening that up, we're also talking about the second house when we talk about astrology, and that has to do with self-worth, values, and security. Again, pushing right back into the story you're telling yourself. So when I share that, ladies, how have you guys been noticing, experiencing these transits right now?
That a trick question? Um, I would say normally I'm feeling things more physically because those are the things that have been impacting me for a while and just getting to be able to move and do things differently. But this last couple weeks it's been heavy emotions mentally. And I like having a breakdown over the fact that my plumbing decided to blow up today was not normal for me. And I was just like, done. I'm selling this house. I'm out of here. I'm moving. I'm gonna go live in a tent somewhere. Um, but I think for me, it's really that survival strategy now. When you talk about the story that you keep telling yourself, it's the narratives that we've constantly tell ourselves to protect us and not to evolve. We want to say it's going to be okay. This is what's expected. We've been here before. And when you repeat those same patterns, the same story repeats itself. So I'm in that place right now where I want to move from that it's okay, it's going to get better, to I'm going to make it better. Like it's like really believe that it's going to get better versus just using those phrases as a way to get through the day.
How about it's beginning to get better? So that way we're putting it in present
Yeah.
tense as if you're
Yep.
already living it. And when you shared, I wanted to say real quick, due to Mercury retrograde being in Cancer, you having pipes burst, Cancer being associated with water, moon energy, emotion, childhood. And then we also correspond on top of that. Then you have the Mercury, which is communication, but we're retrograde. So it will have more apps to things breaking, stops in travel, frustrations, because it's a call for patience and silence. So there might be something there when I see the burst happening, something needing to come out with your communication that might be on that breaking point or might have just been. So that might have correlated to something that might have currently happened or might currently still be unfolding as you're kind of processing the emotions at this time, which is the flow. And if you think about the moon controls the tides, the flow of the water. Are you going against the current? Or are you flowing with it? Um, wow, that just got me right in there. And with the second house being of values, I know that's been kind of circulating a lot, but we also got the third house of communication on top of it with when we have the Mercury talking there too. So there's really like, guys, the reason why astrology is so beautiful is that when we can kind of correlate these energies and see it on a collective level, but from our own individual eyes or understanding, can we better relate a better understanding of these experiences that are unfolding for all of us at this time?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's
Yeah,
that
that
emotional script, right? It's that unconscious loop that we get stuck in.
I did wanted to make sure Stephanie wasn't going to say something that was yes. And when you say the loop and we're in a retrograde with revisiting, it going more inward, um, that is great because when we can do that, that kind of brings up more of a shadow aspect. But when we can do that, there's kind of a new light that gets brought upon that situation. And Stephanie, you know, not to whatever, but even in you with experiences that you have unfolding seems very relatable from with Tina in the aspects of kind of a lot of take it from here.
Well, I think when when Stephanie was sharing a personal situation, it was, for me, it was very relatable because we get stuck in repeating the same emotional script. It's ingrained in our head. Instead of taking the time to understand what circumstances have changed or what's evolved around us, we just get stuck in that. This is what I'm supposed to say. This is what I'm supposed to do. And that script just becomes like our life guidebook, and it shouldn't be.
right, and that's kind of, you know, talking about the story that you're telling yourself, or telling myself. It's more of I need to hold back and not say things to cause drama or conflict, and just, you know, stand on the sidelines and just let things play out the way that they're going to play out, instead of addressing and, you know, causing that conflict and making people think and realize, you know, where I'm coming from and what's going on.
Or do
So,
we
and
challenge
with the third
that?
house, hmm?
Go ahead.
No, what were you saying?
I say, or do we challenge that and say what we rewrite that script? We say those words. They're inside of us. There's an emotional anchor to it. We allow them to come out, but then we allow the emotions to flow with the other folks that are involved in the conversation. And instead of getting everybody to agree on one thing, you're maintaining your boundaries. You said what you needed to say.
Mm-hmm.
You hold tight. You don't need to react. You don't need to respond. You said it, and then you maintain your boundaries so that you can continue to maintain relationships that you need to maintain.
Right. Yeah, and Nicole talking about the third house with communication. I communicate with emotions.
Yeah.
So I need to always, I want to pause and take a step back and think about what I want to say and how I want to say it. So I'm not saying it in anger, and I'm not saying it, you know, have it come out a way that I don't want it to come out, because I am so emotional in my communication.
Well, I think that there are stories that shape our behavior, right? It influences the tone, the posture, the boundaries, the decision making. Um, and that's okay as long as you're self aware as to where that conversation's
Mhm.
headed and not losing yourself in it.
Right.
Because
And am I ready for that next part of the conversation that's going to be coming? Am I emotionally ready for that right now to get into this? Or is it something that I'm going to hold off and wait until I've prepared myself for the response that I'm going to get with what I'm going to say right now?
yeah, well, and we've been talking about this for months now. It's that fear based emotion. We go with what we're familiar with.
Hmm.
And in a situation like this, whether it's a conversation, it's the story, of our lives or whatever, like we're human. We just seek
Yep.
consistency. We don't like change. Change is not something a lot of people do well with. And so when you want to stick to something that's known and familiar, it becomes that trauma based response that you bring with you to
Hmm.
every conversation with that specific individual or that same situation and maybe different characters.
Right. And everything that I want to communicate, I mean, it's all in love for this person.
Yep.
And I want it to come off that way. I don't want it to come off as hatred or spite or, despising somebody. I want this to come off as I'm saying this to you because I love you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to start with that. Like that.
Tough love.
Just start with that and repeat that several times to kind of get people to hear you. I'm not coming from a bad place. I'm coming from a place of love. It's going to be hard to hear, but it's a place from love. Like we really need to do this in order to fix the situation or the relationship or the narrative.
Right.
Providing that like safety too. In the conversation, you can even begin with like, this is a safe space. Nothing's going to get weaponized. Nothing's meant to be, it's just truth. Let's put the truth out on how we can best articulate it. Because a lot of the times when we get so nervous about these conversations, like you shared, it's about how we're going to actually show up when we're in that moment. So kind of pre-scripting how that could look can also help with how you kind of show up in the conversation when it does happen. But just allowing that time and space for the feelings to come up. And back to when we're talking about the stories that we're telling ourselves, when you're speaking about the difficulties and what you're experiencing right now, I am seeing awareness all over the place. Like your increase in awareness. And that is the light aspect of what we're speaking about that is coming out of the shadow with this Mercury retrograde and everything, because I have heard you challenge the once limiting beliefs that you had to what your new thought process is on it in real time today. So that awareness, that is where the growth comes, guys. See right there, you're seeing the light and the shadow. You can't just stay on one or the other. It's kind of like they both need to happen for this level of awareness to happen, because this is only going to continue to empower you for the new stories that you're inevitably going to be telling about yourself, right? Like, who are you when no one's watching? That's who you want to show up as. So.
I call these people hate me when I use these theories that know me. I have three of them that are most common in my work, my lifestyle, whatever it is. I call them sticky stories. And what it means is it goes back to those limited beliefs that Nicole just mentioned. It's I'm too much, I'm not enough. Right? So here's this conflict. I'm too much, but I'm not enough. And that identity tug of war keeps us shrinking into places that we either don't fit or we're overperforming in. The second one is I have to earn my worth. And that's a tough one. That's a hard one for people. But the productivity based identity that exhausts women specifically, especially leaders and in this kind of space, intuitive and spirituality, is you have to be so confident and so comfortable with your ability to speak what you know and why you know it. So Nicole talks about all of the retrogrades, the full moons, the astrology, and that's what she that's her knowledge based worth, right? I can't That's not mine. I don't own it. It's not mine, but it's what Nicole does and it's what she knows, and that's where she's valued. And a lot of times I push back on her when she asks me a question. I'm like, well, what's the value of it to you? Because it's linked directly to her work, to her beliefs, and to what she knows. And then third one is if I change, I'll lose people. And I feel like people really struggle with that one because it's a loyalty based narrative that keeps us anchored in an older version of ourselves.
Man, I feel like
That last one.
Oh, go ahead. Ooh, get on that. Go ahead.
That last one, if I change, I'll lose people. I've lost a lot of people in the last couple of years, either through death or just, grown apart, friendships ending. And so, yeah, I think that's in the back of my mind too, on conversations that I have, um, with some people. There's some people that I'm okay with, like, I'll say it, get out of here. But then there's other conversations where, I'm gonna lose somebody that I don't really want to lose. But
But what version of them are you losing? Because there's also that in itself
right,
to be like, if I'm going to continue to have this relationship, am I having a relationship with the person I once knew? Or am I having a relationship with somebody else now? And that can be even more
right,
difficult because it's not like they're physically going to be gone, but level of relationship that you have may be, which is okay because it does give an opportunity for a new layer and level to happen and hopefully evolve together or separate. But evolution's evolution, and it will hopefully trigger regardless what's going to be best for you and how you're handling it,
right.
and you're going to continue to handle it. It's going to all unfold exactly as Vicky and you intend it to.
Well, I've lost a lot of people through this journey.
Man, it's been a lot.
It's been tough. Um, but it's also been very eye-opening
Mm.
and rewarding because there's a weight lifted. So losing people right now is a space that I'm comfortable in,
Same.
but I'm also carrying the expectation that if I'm having the same conflict with different people, same behaviors with different people, then that's a sign that the story is the common denominator. So, how do you start to weed through that and figure out who is my tribe? Who are the people that I'm going to bring
Mhm.
along with me? And I might just pick 20 weeds and put them to the side and three flowers, and those are the people that I take with me. And hopefully, that common denominator, that shift, starts to really impact and shape and help us through the loss of those relationships.
Mhm. Not all weeds
That
need
totally
bleaching.
just resonated. Thinking about the relationships that I've lost in the last year or so, um, what you're just saying, Tina, is making me think about what was I doing in those relationships? Was I performing, you know, not really being my authentic self and performing to fit in? And then eventually it's like I really accepting the fact that I don't fit in. The story that I'm doing right now is not, you know, not the story that I want to be telling anymore. So this doesn't fit me anymore.
Right, you're performing versus expressing.
I
Yeah.
feel that you're evolving, and like evolution always does, it's going to bring what's meant to go with you, and what's meant to fall apart or fall away will, one way or the other. Definitely can relate in all ways, whether it's been like work relationships, physically passing, family relationships, friendship. Like, oh, it feels like it's been nonstop. Like the whole basket's been plucking itself out, in all honesty. But what's beautiful is, oh, 1, 2, 3, moving forward energy. I love it. Is that what's coming in now and what's starting to grow. And there's a feeling in knowing that there are more soul like connections unfolding. I mean, I feel it unfolding all around me with like some solid people, you guys obviously included in that. And that was found through a very difficult time. So when we always want to remind ourselves when we're really in those difficult times to really just kind of allow what needs to unfold, because there really is beauty that's popping up all around. Yeah, opportunities for new awareness, um, going back to our self worth and our new stories. And not everybody can come to that next level of growth if they're not ready to, and that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with people staying, and I don't even like to use the word behind, but people just falling away. That's why I say falling away, because I don't necessarily, I don't think anybody's behind or ahead of anybody. I think that we all have our own place on our journey, exactly where we're meant to be. We're exactly divinely as we're meant to be it, and that's just what it is. So comparison also hits the way that the stories that we tell ourselves too. So unless it's a comparison in a way that inspires you to become the best version of yourself, then check out why you may be also comparing, because that adds to your story, I
And
believe. Yeah.
and Stephanie, I think sometimes I hate that we're like picking on you today, but you did have a good story behind you.
It's fine.
Um, it's it's how do you choose that new story? But like, what are the micro shifts? Because you don't have to do it in one big jump. Like, you can piece this into conversations that slowly reinforce what that new narrative looks like for you and hope that it aligns with the individual that you're talking to. But coming in with a big bang may not be the way that would be perceived, but maybe slowly
Mhm.
starting to have those conversations may help. Actually, it may even sink in easier for this individual if you're like kind of like micro shifting or micro dosing it.
That's what I just said in my head. That's funny.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with it, but it's the point that something's gotta at this time start.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing with life too. That can be very easy when we have the concerns of change. We can naturally avoid out of fear of what could happen if we do face it. But the hard thing is that it almost sits with us even harder, and then we'll almost get into our head even more than what will actually play out, what actually may play out.
Well, that's what
And
we do. We practice it.
mhm.
We practice a narrative, and then when we get in front of the
Mhm.
person, we're like, we just start like it. We just vomit from the mouth, and then all of a sudden, it's like, how do I come back from this? Like, how do I rein myself in?
Mhm.
Pause. I always say, when in doubt, pause it out, especially
Pause.
during this Mercury retrograde. Don't send nothing that isn't written and checked through a few times. Like, don't sign anything big. And it's more so because it's time to really check the details, really kind of take the time and sit. Now's not the time to be rushing really anything in that regard. It's more about kind
Mhm.
of like owning and being responsible. So it's kind of like avoidance doesn't really have space right now because the energy is kind of asking, no, it's time to face. Because I believe when we come into this Leo energy, it's going to be exciting and fun and expressive of who we are, and the shadows will just keep coming up if we're fearing not being seen by avoiding things that need facing. Make sense? And for me, I want to share with astrology, there is so much to learn about it, guys. And I, as the individual, have just sought out through all different kinds of platforms what kind of resonated with me, different people, astrologers, different influencers and stuff on all different platforms, and I gained my knowledge still like picking up the newspaper daily. So when it comes to astrology, that's kind of what my cup of tea is. But I don't lead with being an astrologer because I believe more in intuitive development. And for me, astrology and like the birth chart has been really identifiable for me in building my intuition, my understanding of how I operate. So when we're kind of sharing the energies and stuff like that, it's more so in a way of empowerment and trying to help you guys, I don't know, see how really powerful and beautiful and divine everything really is, but how you can work with it and how it may be showing up. And if it resonates with you, cool. If it doesn't, leave it up on the shelf. That's okay. But if it could add something to you, then I think anything that's brought into your awareness is great. And conversations like this, I think, are really important and transformative when we can come from all different kinds of lenses.
Well, I also think the spirituality side of things is when we're really trying to truly align ourselves with values that have felt or look or feel very different than what we are accustomed to.
Mhm.
And when we make those decisions and we go through those losses, because some people just aren't ready to travel that journey with us, that sense of loss is grief. And it's because
Mhm.
you're letting go of a story that often means letting go of who you thought you had to be instead of who you want to be and who you're becoming. So we all been through some form of grief, and we all know letting go of that piece of that loss is very hard, but we also know that what we have left of it is what we can carry forward. We have to bring it with us. We can't just leave it behind because the pain is too hard. We have to find a way to turn that pain into love, action, something powerful that gives us the ability to stay true to ourselves. So when people constantly challenge us and we've gotten into this spiritual journey, we have the inner knowledge and the inner strength to say, nope, not gonna happen. I've done that before, didn't work, and here's my new story. And I'm gonna live my new story.
And that story definitely will come from the okay. So as you were talking, it was coming to me about there's really, and if we look at our relationships with people, there is a version that we have glamorized about the person, no matter who it is, whether it's your spouse, it's a friend, it's TV, it's whoever. You have a version in your mind that you almost have expectations for, whether it's conscious or unconscious. And what's coming to me as we're
Mhm.
all talking is that that's the kind of big bang moment, is when that reality gets hit of this is not the version of the person that I thought they were. Where do I go from here now? Do I keep telling myself this is who they are and keep being met with who they're not? Or do I now walk away and realize that I need something that's more the version of what I believe? You know what I'm saying? Because when we have those expectations, we're going to be let down every time.
Well, I think we
You know.
preach a lot on here that you you want to draw in the energy that matches yours. And sometimes when you recognize that that energy is not matching yours and it's making you uncomfortable or feeling challenged or it's disrespectful, we want to let go, but we want to make sure that we let go in a way that we don't feel, because we're still human. We want to make sure we do it in a way that's not totally toxic or heartbreaking or hurtful for that other person, because they're truly looking at it from a whole different lens. You're trying to look at it from a space in which these are my beliefs, these are my values, these are my boundaries. And I just ask that you respect them. You don't have to agree with them, but respect them.
And even it's not anything that you're usually boundaries are something that you'll also give the other person,
Yep.
right? Like to be completely fair. So also sharing it in that, because sometimes when people are like, these are my boundaries, they can almost take it defensively, like, oh, okay, you just stonewalled me. But from my experiences, I've known that that's kind of how might have presented it and not meant to, right? So in that reflection, I think that it's important to kind of take that moment.
It is. I find myself saying to people sometimes that I haven't talked to in a while who don't really know my, you know, my story, my new story. And I'll say, listen, I have shifted into a different reality. And if I say no, it's not because I'm being difficult. I'm saying no because it doesn't fit. It doesn't work for me. And what I need you to understand is that no is a complete sentence. There's nothing that needs to follow it other than no. And again, it's not to disrespect you, but it's just not aligned with my values today.
Yeah, and sometimes that can be difficult. I've noticed, to be honest. that throughout my journey of like, you know, my substance abuse and stuff like that, to be, you know, transparent, that I've noticed that conversations or who I'm around has really shifted of for me, even being around those people involving themselves in it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Just because I know that there's I'm in the knowing of from my own experience that there's not a commonality of a conversation that could be had there. You know what I'm saying? So that starts to make it a little bit difficult too, because when you care about people in different ways or you have different histories with them, seeing that kind of shift, something that before wasn't an issue because it was looked at different. So now when it's being looked at from a different, you know, observation standpoint, there's almost a death in that as well, because there's a complete shift of communication that's now going to happen. That, you know, when I was partaking before for my own experience, and then I may not be now, or not wanting that in the conversation now, there can be that. So trying to meet the person where they're at, but also in the boundaries. What I wanted to settle with earlier is that I'm not going to put a boundary up that I'm not also going to do for you. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm asking for you to maybe not talk to me like a certain way or whatever, then that means that I'm also going to warrant that I'm going to give that to you as well. And I think when we can come to a place like that, that also creates more of a togetherness rather than a separation of people. You know, it gives an opportunity to keep it more together rather than apart, I guess.
It's mutual care, mutual respect.
Yeah, yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. And yeah, in a couple of words, that's what. But inevitably, yeah, it's true though. We can only meet people as far as we're able to meet ourselves.
Yep.
Hmm.
And with that, I feel like it's time for Stephanie's purposeful pause. I don't know if I'll do that one again, but I had to try.
Ooh, she added a tune to it there. Oh, okay. So everybody take a breath. Let your shoulders drop and soften your jaw and let yourself arrive fully in this moment. And now I want you to ask yourself, what story are you carrying that no longer belongs to you? Maybe it's a story someone handed you long ago about who you should be, how small you should stay, or what you're allowed to want. Maybe it's a story built from old fears, old wounds, or old versions of you that no longer fit the person you're becoming. Maybe it's a story you've repeated so often it feels like truth, even though it's only familiarity. Notice it, name it, and feel its weight. And then ask yourself, is this story still mine? Or have I simply been holding it because I forgot I could put it down? In this pause, give yourself permission to loosen your grip, to imagine who you might be without that narrative shaping your choices, to consider the possibility that courage isn't about pushing forward, it's about releasing what was never yours to carry. Let the story fall away, even if only for this breath. Let yourself feel the space it leaves behind. That space is where you become visible again, first to yourself and then to the world. As you gently return from that moment of reflection, carry with you whatever surfaced. You don't have to resolve it right now. You don't have to know what comes next. Just stay open to the possibility that releasing an old story creates room for a truer one to emerge.
Just like a butterfly, you got to go into the cocoon, and literally a part of you will die so that way you can become something new. And that's how you express yourself. I heard when you were talking, express yourself. I don't know what song, but that's what kept playing over and over. And again, that comes back to Leo season we're coming into too. So it's really asking, what is your expression? We're not hiding who we are anymore. I know for eons, we have all been like shunned for trying to show up as who we are, different from one another. But we're in such a magical time where showing up as who you are is the best currency that you can literally have right now. Truthfully, I
Mhm.
mean, strike me right now. I know how true that is to be. Just give it a shot. It can't hurt nothing. No hurt nothing.
Mhm.
And that's what this time's calling for. And guys, when we come back on Friday, we're going to be talking about healing the fear of not being enough. Because sometimes, unconsciously or consciously, that could be a part of what is contributing to the story that we are telling ourselves. And on Monday, it's all about what we are becoming. So know that these conversations, they build and they work within each other. So if you're ever kind of in that place and you're hearing, oh, I want to know more about becoming, check out Monday's episode. It's pretty good. We're all working on things here to just kind of provide clarity, understanding, to help you better show up for yourself on your journey. Whether it's through coaching, which Tina offers, check her out, purposefultransitions.net. What? If you're in the Wisconsin area with Wounded Warriors Project out there, check out Stephanie. But truthfully, everybody here, or you can check me out at makeupyourpower.com, intuitive development classes, working on a master class right now, really individualized, kind of like a plan just for you to be able to look at, to refer to, that is monthly inspiration and direction. Like, we want to bring value to you guys of what we know and what we have lived in and what is working for us, because that is authentically true for us. That is what we're trying to bring to you. Nothing that is performative, because performative has gotten me in places that put me at rock bottoms of being like, well, who am I? It's so much easier to show up this way, dude. So much easier. It may be quirky, but you know what? Whoever falls away is just creating space for who is meant to fill it up. And I got a pretty big personality too. So I mean, not everybody's going to enjoy that. Obvi.
We love it.
I mean, you got to be you, man, and you got to communicate. That's just what it is. Okay. So we had a really great conversation. So just kind of want to summarize, like, kind of where we did talked about some important stuff. Give yourself grace. A lot's unfolding. Different identities, old stories are kind of falling away right now. Allow them to. Give your self space and time. Grounding is really important, especially to show up better with communication. Try to give yourself time. If your emotions are going to be involved on how you're going to respond or handle a situation, sit with yourself. Kind of be that, like, see a stop sign, see a red railroad sign that just says now's not the time to maybe have that conversation, because the right time, the right words will follow. Okay. If we push, especially during this energy for this next month, we're going to end up having to re-clean it up, maybe own on some stuff that if we would have given ourselves time, we wouldn't have to. Everything though is a lesson learned, nothing to be fearful. These times, these energies show up to give us different opportunities to work through things. So then that way, following the next month or what have you, or next experience, we're able to best express yourself. Came up again. So Well, ladies, I'm just kind of chatting. This is just kind of what's coming through. Because I really enjoyed this conversation. And I hope that whoever listens enjoys it as well. Feel free to follow, like, share, anybody you think this will resonate with. And I don't want to, you want to go into your purposeful pause? I mean, your Tina's reflection time. Wow, didn't mean to say that part.
See, confused yourself. All right, so let's
Yeah,
stay,
because she's saying it earlier.
yeah.
That's
Let's
why.
stay with that breath that we started with, Stephanie, and notice the story you've been carrying, the one that feels so familiar, the one that feels heavy, and the one that feels inherited. Ask yourself, Is this story mine, or is it simply the one I learned to survive? You are allowed to choose a new narrative. You are allowed to become someone your past never imagined. The story you keep telling yourself is powerful, but it's not permanent. Remember to allow the energetic shift that happens when you stop telling the old story. Accept the somatic cues that reveal that you are aligned with something new. The identity you are reclaiming happens when you choose truth over trauma, and only permission to evolve without needing external validation. Nobody needs to give you a stamp of approval. We repeat what we don't repair, and that is, I think, that is one of our biggest challenges as humans. We just don't know how to fix it. So today, let your truth speak a little louder than your fear. Wear that badge of honor, and let that be just enough for now. With baby steps is what's so important during these changes.
Yep. That's what I'm dropping into the chat. I like that. Because what came when you were talking, exactly what may be repeating that is in need of repair. Maybe sitting with that question is what I got during Tina's reflection time. So I just want to share that. And everybody, we appreciate you showing up for yourself every day, every day. A lot of stuff's going on. We'll come back on Friday. Actually, we're going to be no, just kidding. Not even going to go where I thought. We will be having a fun episode next Friday, though. We are going to have a guest on there who works a lot with voice activation. So tune in for that because that'll be a fun
No
conversation.
pun intended.
Was it?
No pun intended.
I was like, what? And then my chair just squeaked just to do the extra. So now I'm lost on where we're. We'll be talking about Chiron and Taurus, how that shift has been feeling for everybody. Chiron's been moving around in there for a little bit of a second, but that transit's still shifting a lot of our worth and value when it comes to Taurus. So just we're going to keep bringing in the energies, sharing what's currently going on, having the conversations. Feel free to comment if there's anything that you guys would like clarity on or for us to talk more on. We can totally make that an episode as well. But just know that you guys woke up today because your soul still has purpose on this planet. So just go out there and live it as authentically true to you. And question your beliefs all the time. Challenge them. That's okay. Your beliefs want to be challenged. That's how you evolve as a human. It's okay if you decide to say, change your mind from yesterday to today, but allow yourself enough time to unfold because the answer will reveal itself without it being forced.
And pay attention to the cues that your body is sending you, whether it's physical, mental, or emotionally. Because I know my pause takes place when my heart rate is out of control. That's when I know I am not in a place to have a conversation. So find what that trigger is for you, and if you're getting butterflies or your stomach's upset or something just doesn't feel right, it's something signaling you. Pause.
Yep.
Take some time and think before you speak.
Authenticity doesn't perform, it needs time. It needs allowance. So be okay with, we've lived in a world for a very long time that wanted now. We're shifting completely into a world that's like, no, we need to sit, we need to pause. So allow yourself that time and space because it's a lot. It's a lot to shift out of one way of thinking, logic, eco, performative, to now pause, go within, feel, sit, meditate, yoga, ground, whatever that looks like. That's what we're shifting into. And that could be a lot for people, especially when we're talking, as we've been talking about identity shifting. It is real time happening. And it's okay. We're not going through it alone. And these conversations show how we're all experiencing that together. So I've already said my ending. Is there anything that you ladies wanted to close with before we head out for the day?
I would just say that identity shifting is a huge thing right now. I'm hearing about it a lot. I am preparing a semi masterclass on identity shifting and victim mentality because I feel like there are a lot of people that are stuck. They're not sure what's the next move, who they're becoming, who they were. So I think talking about the identity shifting is really important.
Absolutely. And learning as much as you
I
can.
felt a lot of heavy energy lately,
Oh, go ahead.
so I think I'm gonna do a lot of focusing on grounding myself and clearing my energy.
The answers are all within us, guys. And the more that we can be open to wanting to learn and evolve and understand, the more that we will be able to handle the challenges that life is always going to be throwing your way. All right, beautiful souls, we will come back and we will see you next time. Bye.
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 Start.